Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Crypto Market Update. I love that you guys loved yesterday's thumbnail. I'm sorry for all of you that didn't actually watch the video through because nothing has changed. We have bullish signals here from TBT bullish divergence, just like we did way back over here. But it doesn't mean that Bitcoin's necessarily going to be pumping. The macro trend is still bearish on the daily, still bearish on the weekly. Did BTC fall yesterday? About 4%? It sure did. Did it stay down there? No, it didn't. Does this mean that the end is over and Bitcoin's going to bounce from here? We're not going to go lower? No, it doesn't. It just means that we're literally doing deja vu trading style of everything we saw back over here in December and January. I'm sorry to be laughing at you guys, but honestly, you don't watch the videos. You just look at the thumbnails, which I appreciate. I'm glad you like them here on YouTube. It's good. Sorry, people on X, you don't get to see the YouTubes and all their glory, but they are fantastic. Now, has anything massively changed for Bitcoin? On the 4-hour, which is 6 times weaker than the daily, did you catch it? The price of BTC has constricted a lot, and it's no longer strong bearish. It's kind of poking above the cloud, which is great. But honestly, it doesn't really change anything for me on the weekly time frame. Now, I still expect Bitcoin to fall back down here to TBO support, which is at $63,913. If we look at our bear flag, previous one, there's probably a good chance that this isn't going to be legit anymore, which is probably for the better because it's a terrifying bear flag. So now if we're looking at our current bear flag, where is it? Oh, did I really delete it? I really deleted it. That's okay. Is this the previous one? Oy vey. All right. So we got this right here. So this is our, I have to retitle this, current bear flag. Honestly, BTC is doing a great job with this. Now, the one thing that we're really waiting for is to see Bitcoin make some higher highs. Because typically, admittedly, a bear flag has to have higher lows and higher highs going up and up and up. So what if this isn't a bear flag? Fair enough. Well, then we're just going to have support and resistance levels. So we saw on Monday, that BTC closed above overhead resistance, which is exciting in terms of this short-term trend line. That's amazing. And actually, it held above it yesterday, even though it pierced and fell back down. To be honest, though, like this is super weak, and I don't really draw stuff like this. I'm mostly looking at our support levels, especially if things are bearish, I'm looking at support. If things are bullish, I'm looking at resistance. It doesn't make sense to do the inverse. So the main thing is that BTC is still hugging the TBO fast line on the daily time frame. Cool. If things are really going to get bullish, two things have to happen. One, Bitcoin has to hold inside of the daily TBO cloud, and it needs to print a TBO close short. The last one we saw was way back over here on April the 12th. This is after all of the crazy chop consolidation had happened after the tariff FUD fears. Now, there's one slight problem in all of this, and that problem right now has to do with a lot of TradFi stuff that's happening in the world. Now note that it's just Bitcoin that's looking okay. Everything else is starting to look really weak. Gasp. Who could have thought? Ethereum closed red 2% yesterday. It also failed to close inside of the cloud. It's still macro bearish. On-balance volume is still leaning bearish. Volume in general is bearish. RSI is neutral at best. So it's not really changing. Nothing good on the 4-hour, nothing good on the weekly, even though we might get a short-term bounce. But it doesn't really change anything wildly for me. Stablecoin dominance, it did close green yesterday above the cloud, so it's still strong bullish, although it is very clearly putting in lower highs and lower lows, which means that we might see another push up, which means Bitcoin might have a little bit of a pullback before going up higher, possibly. But this is bullish structure, seeing, in terms of RSI, seeing lower highs and lower lows. Cool. On the 4-hour, are there any striking or terrifying symbols? Nah, nothing like that. On the weekly? Nah, nothing. Bitcoin dominance actually closed up higher because Bitcoin dominance is pushing up higher and it's looking bullish. We're going to see others dominance, a lot of other charts looking really weak, which is exactly what happened on Monday. It fell down 1.82%. Yesterday, it remains inside of the cloud. This is what we call bearish consolidation mode. It's strong bullish when the price is above the cloud. And then when it was bullish and then it falls inside of the cloud like this is what we call bearish consolidation mode with the TBO. We also have 3 TBT bearish divergences, the third one being changed to a cluster to draw our attention to this being a really extreme chance of a pullback. And it's even more likely to happen when the slow line, which the price is above it technically, but as long as the slow line is pointing down, which it is, then we should expect the price to also go lower, or in this case, a percentage. Note, we already saw a break of support here in terms of others' dominance RSI. Now, the next level of support today is immediately at 26.87, give or take. And I do expect that to get hit, which means another fall for that chart. Now, the bigger news is in regards to TradFi. Traditional finance has been undergoing a lot of stress and a lot of pain recently because of all the stuff that's happening in the Middle East. Now, daily RSI for the Dixie is now at 82.15. Yesterday it closed at 80.11. The previous high was over here on the 4th of November at 82.54. My guess is that we're going to see daily RSI hit this target of 100.261, as I've been expecting and predicting ever since seeing all of these TBO closed shorts, which tell us to expect a bullish reversal, which is exactly what we're seeing. The problem with this bullish reversal is that if the dollar's bullish, that means that other currencies are suffering and struggling. The euro confirmed a TBO closed long on Monday, dumped more yesterday, and it's continuing to fall. And it looks like it's going to drop below immediate TBO support at 1.15. If we're looking at RSI, it's back to being oversold. But more importantly, yesterday's confirmed RSI level at 20.06 is just slightly higher than what we saw on the 9th of January. But now we're at 17.81. There's a good chance, and look at this, on the weekly, we also have a TBO close long with weekly RSI putting in lower highs consistently. What does this mean? It means that we're going to see more pain for the euro. It's going to be falling a lot lower, and the dollar's most likely going to be rising a lot higher. And again, this is a conservative target, by the way, of like 100.261 for the dollar. It could also push all the way up here to overhead resistance, which immediately would be 104. Which is terrifying. That would be a very bad thing. Now, because, actually, you guys need to look at the chart this way, because the dollar is strengthening, the yen is also weakening even more. Monday, it lost 0.83%. Yesterday, it fell lower. And notice that it's below the daily TBO cloud, which means it's back to being strong bearish. This chart is showing the price going up because USD JPY is showing the value of, $1 buys you how much yen? So right now, $1 buys you 157 yen. So if you're traveling to Japan and you want to bring $100, great. You're going to get what? Ichiman golsen 700 yen. So you're going to get about 15,700 yen, which is a really good deal. Basically, you're getting a bonus on your dollars if you're traveling to Japan. Now, this is bad, and it's bad for several reasons. The yen cannot afford to weaken anymore. And with the stress of the Middle East and tensions in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz under a lot of pressure right now, it makes sense that the yen is weakening and the dollar is strengthening, and oil is also going up. The Bank of Japan is going to be, they're going to have their hand forced, which means they're going to have to intervene if things don't cool off in the Middle East quick, which good luck at that happening. So if the yen starts to get up here to like 159, this is where things are going to get really interesting really fast, because the last couple of times that the yen has gone up really high, really fast, there was intervention. I mean, intervention just has to happen. So 161 would be a disastrous level to hit. And there might be some crazy shockwaves that happen because the Bank of Japan will basically be forced to intervene by selling US bonds, all that stuff for yen, to buy back the yen to strengthen it, which will cause shockwaves across the financial landscape. If we didn't already have enough, right, going on. Now, the S&P futures chart, as I said before, we've seen a lot of schizophrenic price action, but we've been inside of the cloud over here really ever since the 20th of January. We saw lots of warning symbols that I marked many times saying TBO close long, close long, close long, close long, close long. These are all bad. Seeing the cloud start to constrict and tighten is bad. Seeing an open short on Monday the 23rd, then 2 days later an open long, then another open short again on Monday this week, not really a surprise to me. But more importantly, what do you see? S&P futures wicked below the daily TBO cloud yesterday. This is a sign that it is going to lean to being strong bearish. So just a reminder, when the price is above the cloud, it's strong bullish. When it was above the cloud, but it falls inside of the cloud, that's a change to being in bearish consolidation. When we're in bearish consolidation and the price falls below the cloud, that's when we go strong bearish. Note that I've already been telling you for a long time that the S&P is setting up for some sort of a crash. There's a good weekly level to watch, which is the weekly TBO fast line at 5,888, which is at about a 13% drop. That's easy. That's easy. And if we look at other indicators on the weekly, you already know this, but just again, we're seeing lower highs and lower low on weekly RSI. On balance volume is putting in some very clear signs that it's going to be entering a bearish period, just like it did during the tariff FUD and fear. Okay. But this is all happening slow motion. It's never going to happen super duper fast. The main thing that should surprise you is that this is the first time that the price for S&P futures has peaked below the cloud since it last teased it back over here on the 30th of April. So where we are right now is like this. Right over here on the 3rd of March. Well, that's weird because that was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. We saw the price of the S&P. Hold on a second. That's really weird. Can we hold on a second? March 3rd, 2025, we saw the price of the S&P futures wick below the cloud, and then after that, it fell another 17%. All right, maybe we might see the same thing, but honestly, we have targets already laid out for us. There's support here, about 3% lower at about 65.25, and then we have real bad support down here, a lot lower at 48.69. That's the tariff low. That's a 28% drop from the current price. It could happen. It's not likely, but it could happen. And again, if the S&P is going to continue to dump after hours, and we know that the Dow Jones is looking real rough, the NASDAQ is looking really rough as well. It's now considered strong bearish because it's below the cloud. The VIX wicked all the way up to 28.15 yesterday. The Nikkei continues to tumble down 3%, actually from our 2.0 Fibonacci extension level, which is a rejection target. It's now down 8%, and it confirmed a TBT bearish divergence yesterday. Today, it's already working on a close long. The Shanghai Composite is down 1% so far today. Hooray! Actually, no, this is yesterday, so it looks like they've closed it. Maybe there's a holiday I don't know about. The Hang Seng, since printing 5 TBO close longs, has now fallen about 5%, which is massive, and it's working on a close long on the weekly. It's also breaking support. You want to tell me that Bitcoin is just going to be like, oh yeah, everything's fine, guys. Everything's great. Like the lumpy space princess from Adventure Time. Yes, Roger, let's go. I don't know who Roger is, but anyway, I don't buy it. I really don't buy it. I don't think it's going to happen. But I mean, we'll see. Maybe crypto's just going to fly while everything else is frying and dying. I don't know. But again, this is all the same kind of stuff we've seen before. Anyway, moving on to some stocks. NVIDIA is still strong bearish below the cloud. GameStop is struggling. Tesla is going lower. It's heading towards the support level of about 325. UK oil continues to push up higher as well. Gold seen a lot of volatility. Yesterday, gold dropped 4.38% and printed a second TBT bearish divergence. It did not close inside of the cloud, but man, oh man, that's a pretty punishing blow. And of course, silver fell even more, 8%. Platinum fell 9%. Copper fell 2%. Uranium also is falling today, 7%. There's a lot of activity happening. And to be honest, this shouldn't terrify you. This should actually be seen all as opportunities. The one thing I've learned from cryptocurrency markets is that there's always going to be another. There's always going to be another entry for a long, for a short. There's always going to be another chart that's pumping or dumping. And volatility is the lifeblood of every trader. It's what I teach in our courses. It's what our tools highlight in the Better Traders Club, as well as the TBO indicator, which again is the best trading view indicator I've ever used. Been using this thing since 2019. It tells me the strength of the trend, reversals of the trend, when the trend might be changing, just like we saw for the Dixie chart, just like we saw for the Hang Seng. And again, those are charts that are not crypto charts. We can use the TBO, although admittedly it does work much better with 24/7 markets. It also shows the support resistance levels, all that good stuff, breakouts, breakdowns. You get the idea. Plus, our journal is now print on demand. The Better Traders Journal is fantastic. You can get it hard copy or paperback via Amazon.com. If you grab it and you really enjoy using it, you're getting value out of it, please consider leaving us a review. That'd be awesome. And if you're still looking for an exchange partner for trading futures, ideally, that would be TBit. This is a great time to be using futures because the market is so erratic and so crazy. And TBit does have options for you to trade gold. And I know that other exchanges actually just added oil recently because crypto is just trying to jump on whatever's popping. And that's okay. And the idea behind this too is that TBit should be accessible from most places and most jurisdictions in the world, which makes it awesome. And you can connect TBit to Trady. But in order to do that, you have to fill out a KYC. But if you want to just use TBit and deposit and withdraw up to 50,000 USDT per day, you don't have to fill out a KYC, which is crazy to me, and it's legal. Who'da thunk? All right, so we're going to get into my picks. Before we do, if you have coins, if you have tickers, you have stocks you want me to review on these videos, make sure to leave a comment down below, add the $, and if it's a stock, please tell me it's a stock. So that way I don't have to go digging and searching for it, because I have to spend like more than 5 seconds to find your ticker. I'm going to pass it. I'm serious, because I have too many of you leaving comments, which is great, but I need to also maximize my time when I'm doing these videos, which is also respecting your time to not make them 3 hours long, which they could easily become. I'm trying to talk quickly as well, if you've noticed. All right, let's get into my picks. Oh yeah, and if you do that stuff, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, share the videos online, blah, blah, blah. You know the spiel. Let's just do this. Mantle pushed up 5-ish% yesterday. More importantly, it's inside the daily TBO cloud. Now, this has happened back over here on January 6th before it got rejected. It's also happened back over here. December 10th moved up to the up to the slow line before it rejected. So is this time any different? I don't know. I don't really think so, to be honest. The main things I can see, though, is that on-balance volume is above its moving average, and the moving average is flattening out, starting to curl up. That's a really positive sign. Daily RSI is overbought. So this is probably setting up for some sort of a reversal. If we go to the daily time frame, it looks good. 4-hour time frame, we have TBO breakouts, which means that the move it's not super late in terms of an exhaustion breakout. It's only up like 8%. So it's believable. But again, I'm just a little bit nervous for the market right now, for crypto in general. Near has 3 TBO breakouts after a lot of volatility yesterday. And interestingly enough, we saw a doji close and a negative 0.15% close. But look at the volume yesterday, almost on par with what we saw on Monday. Yesterday's volume, 81 million, Monday's at 85 million, and yet the price action was stalling. There's actually a good chance that Near is going to move to the top of the cloud before reversing at 1.752. Sky, this one had a TBO breakout on Monday after moving up 6% on the 4-hour time frame. It also has new TBO breakouts. I don't know, man. This one is actually starting to take off. If I'm looking here at RSI yesterday it clocked in at 66.83. It's still below the next high on Monday the 9th at 67.68, but it's actually above that right now, which is wild. On balance volume stays bullish. Volume in general, we finally had one day where it met and exceeded slightly the moving average here for Binance, which is significant. So maybe Skycoin actually could push up higher. XPL, this one also has a single TBO breakout on the 4-hour time frame. I wouldn't. 19% that's a stretch to call it a continuation breakout. But if it happens to push up higher, the next level to look out for is the 236 fib level at 0.1485. River had a surprise move up 22% yesterday. It also printed a TBO breakout, and this is coming after a 49% move. That's most likely going to be an exhaustion breakout. RSI yesterday at 80 exceeds the previous high on the 26th of January at 79.17. It honestly, this one could still push up higher, which is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yesterday's volume finally exceeded the moving average for the first time since the 11th of February, and on-balance volume is looking very, very bullish. Now, reality check, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles in a row, all green. Cool. And we're looking at an exhaustion breakout, just so you know. All right, Virtual has 3 TBO close shorts. It's also struggling at the 236 fib level. Not a bad sign, to be honest. We're still waiting for the price to tag the fast line. Maybe if crypto's going to have a rally, it goes up to 109, maybe, which is TBO resistance. Jupiter still has not tagged the fast line after printing a TBO close short on Monday. Still expecting that pullback first. Atom, this one is showing signs where it could actually be bouncing. Now, this is wild, but if you guys are looking for a long entry and you're okay with some risk, it actually wouldn't be such a bad trade setup, to be honest, because your stop loss would be at about, 3-4%, and your take profit target up here at the fast line, which is a risk-reward ratio of 2.5. It's not bad, to be honest. It's actually pretty decent, and it could go a little bit higher. The graph has printed a third TBT bullish divergence cluster with a massively bearish TBO slow line. Not to mention the weekly is also very bearish. But if we get some sort of snap back up higher, we could see a quick result from the graph. Solana remains bullish, to be honest. So why is it pink and labeled as bearish? I'm just looking at this suspiciously. It's not really doing anything. It is inside of the cloud. I'm a little bit cautious about this chart, though, really pushing up higher. The one thing that Solana is doing that's positive is that it has decent price action right here. So a good target short term would be around $94 or so, perhaps, if it's going to actually move up that high. If it prints a TBO close short, I'll be shocked. I'm not really expecting that. Zero is most likely pivoting here. RSI went overbought on Monday. Tuesday, it closed down to 68.48. It did confirm an open long. So why is it pink? Because it's just oscillating patterns. And on the 4-hour, RSI is losing a lot of strength as well. So that's why. IP, this one is Story Protocol, I believe. It's very strong bearish on the daily time frame, very oversold. Macro bearish on balance volume. Actually, there's a lot more selling yesterday that did exceed the moving average. So there's a good chance that this one continues to fall lower. Hype, this one took a tumble of 4% yesterday after moving just above the cloud on Monday. Not really a surprise, but I do have to say that on balance volume is looking pretty good for this chart. The moving average is moving in favor of bullish uptrend continuation. I still think that the price is going to be capped at 35,537, which is TBO resistance. Ether, however you say it, has some interesting price action here on the 4-hour time frame where it was flashing a TBT bearish divergence and now it's gone away. But RSI is starting to fall off a cliff. Volume has also fallen off considerably on the daily time frame. I do think that Ether is more likely to fall lower than it is to push higher. And now all of these blue flags are for TBO close longs, 2 here for Link that are still valid, where maybe it gets another push up to 920 before falling lower. Dot has 2 recent ones. Tau has 5 recent ones. Aster has a new recent one, actually 2 recents on the 4-hour time frame. WorldCoin has 2 recents. Pendle has 4. Pippin, oh man, Pippin. Crazy crash yesterday. Am I right? Pippin fell 31%. Who'da know? Who'da thunk, right? Who'da thunk that Pippin, a meme coin, would fall 31% in a day? Like, that's so... What happened here? This is so confusing. Wow. Huh. What? Wow. So we already know that RSI put in a max high here on the 14th of February, a considerably lower low on the 24th of February, a much lower low on the 26th of February. RSI has been falling lower. We know that. Price is putting in higher highs. We know that volume's been falling off. It's the same old shtick, the same old story. Mon, not Monad, but Pokemon, has 3 TBO closed longs on the 4-hour. Stable has 2 recent TBO closed longs. Stable is about to do a repeat of what it did back over here. Maybe it could fall down to about 2 cents. Pi, this one on the 4-hour time frame has 3 TBO closed longs. On balance volume is looking quite bullish despite volume being bearish. How can you do that? Well, it's just the moving average. The moving average is pointing upward, which is nice even though there's no real volume. So the problem with this is that if there's no real volume, the next red turn for this chart, rather the blue line here for on balance volume, will close down. It will be bearish. It will try to hold up and it can't. So it really has to push from here or else it's going to fall, which I think is more likely to happen down here to TBO support at 13 cents. Say this one is still holding on at all-time lows. If this thing does not bounce soon, be prepared for a real big drop. That's all. MYX fell again yesterday, 17%. Actually, a very patriotic close for MYX Finance, 17.76. Morpho, this one's pushing up higher and harder, but I'm looking at this very skeptically, thinking, I don't think this one's going to have legs. Now, yesterday's RSI closed at 76.52. It's at 77.68. But the main problem is that Thursday, the 26th of February's close at 80.77. It's lower than the high on the 14th of January, 81.65. This one is in danger of losing strength. Is on balance volume bullish? Oh yeah. Is volume bullish? It is. I'm just skeptically looking at this chart like going, I think it's due. In the same way that I was looking at Pippin going, this is due. In the same way I've been watching Stable like, this one's due. Same thing with Hype falling and all those other ones, okay? Last but not least, Dash confirmed a TBT bullish divergence on Monday. Yesterday, it's still holding above this overhead resistance level, which is great, except for the fact that there's no volume to really be celebrating about whatsoever. And this is Binance. On balance volume is bearish at best. RSI is neutral. I was really expecting a bigger response, but a short-term level to watch is the 236 fib level at 38.71. Now on to your picks. I'm going to start first with ENSO. This one had a crazy pump back over here on Tuesday the 24th from 197 up to 315, 59%. And from Wednesday last week, it is now down 1 week later, 59%. RSI is telling us, careful, on balance volume had a bearish cross. Volume is kind of sort of holding up, to be honest. Yesterday and the day before, we saw volume exceeding the moving average almost by 2. Which is interesting, but we're not seeing a direct result in price yet. WKC, a Memecoin, strong bearish, super strong bearish. If we get a rally for memes, then we're looking at resistance here at this 0.79825 E -7, which is a disgustingly low price. And of course, if things get really bad, then there's support all the way down here, a lot lower. Just trust me, it's a lot lower. A cash network did print a TBT bullish divergence on Monday. Yesterday, it closed up 12%. It's in bullish consolidation mode inside the cloud. Cool. Just like it was back over here on the 27th of January, just like it was over here on the 10th of January, like over here on the 3rd of January, and inevitably, it falls lower. NEAT continues to push back up. The main thing to watch here for NEAT is that it clearly lost support. It's most likely going to put in a lower RSI high, which is your chance to get out of NEAT before it falls. Just saying. Zcash is remaining bearish. No interest, no excitement. No one's talking about it. No one cares. The hope is gone. XMR Monero, it's still staying strong bearish. Again, the whole the whole privacy coin narrative is dead. Dogecoin closed down 3.84%, remaining strong bearish. Aave fell even more at 9%, still strong bearish. XPR, very strong bearish. On the weekly, it's also below the weekly cloud, and it's in danger of falling a whole lot more, down to weekly TBO support at 0.006043. Now for some stock picks, CEG has had a pretty amazing recovery rally from the 5th of February, up about 37%. Which is amazing. It's in bullish consolidation mode. The price, if I'm not mistaken, we're really close to seeing it. Okay, not yet. But the next level of resistance to watch is up here at 353 according to overhead resistance. If it can go above the daily TBO cloud, that'd be amazing. RSI, it's trying to flip bullish. What we want to see here for RSI, for on-balance volume, we want to see this flip bullish by the moving average flattening out and then curling up. That will be a really good sign that it should be picking up energy. ASML printed a TBO close long after falling inside of the cloud and gapping down about 3% yesterday. On the weekly time frame, it's working on a TBT bearish divergence, marking a top, or at least a temporary top. RSI has also fallen a lot. Last week at 80.68, this week at 58.63. NLR. We've already talked about this one. Weird. When did we talk about this? Whatever. We have lots of TBO close longs. Okay, we just looked at the Hang Seng that had 5 TBO close longs. We looked at the S&P futures chart that had about 7 close longs. Inevitably, it had a bearish response. So yes, when I first charted this for whoever asked for it way back in the beginning of February, yeah, we could see an ascending wedge formation like this break to the upside. But the more TBO close longs that we see, the less this becomes likely. So understand that these are not bullish by any means. On the weekly time frame, it's also worth pointing out a couple of things. RSI is putting in lower highs, which you should be cautious about. It's also at risk of losing this noodle support level. On-balance volume is also bearish, and it has been bearish ever since it fell below support confirmed here on the week of the 9th, and it's going lower. Volume is also dropping off too. Every frat girl's favorite saying, right, at a party. You. I don't know where that came from. Anyway. Any chart that gets super constricted like this with the daily TBO cloud, and this is 4%, I mean, getting really tight like that, it's bad. It's not bullish. You. Oh, man, I need to take a nap, apparently. Mara Holdings, which I think is a Bitcoin miner or whatever, doesn't really matter. Yes, the price is going up because people are happy about BTC kind of sort of bottoming right now. It does have a TBO close short. That's admirable. That's impressive because Bitcoin doesn't have that. Ethereum doesn't have that. The last time we saw that, it did start a pretty decent uptrend back over here in April. But this is also pretty closely tied to the price action of Bitcoin, right? So if we're thinking that Bitcoin might be falling a lot lower, we should also be zooming out to see what are the next levels of support here for Mara, which is another 60% lower at 3.28. MicroStrategy, it's very strong bearish on the weekly time frame in terms of RSI, on-balance volume, the TBO on the daily time frame. It's really struggling to keep up, but it is also very closely tied to the price action of Bitcoin. I don't see any bullish reversal signs that are worth paying attention to at all. Still bearish. SanDisk, this one printed a TBT bearish divergence cluster on Friday the 27th after seeing 2 previous TBT bearish divergences. Now the price has gapped down from Monday here to Tuesday inside of the cloud. Not good. RSI has been losing a lot of strength, and now on-balance volume is below its moving average, and the white moving average is starting to top out, which means that most likely this will continue to fall lower. The weekly time frame is working on its first ever TBT bearish divergence. Now, it's a relatively new chart. There might be a better one, like a more historical one. Stock boats. How about the Oracle? Nah. No, I guess we're okay. We're good. That's a pretty nasty sign, though, for a topping signal. Just so you know. Samsung. Interesting. Again, on Friday, made a nice push up here to 220,000, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, 223,000. And it's fallen 16% since then. Whoa. TBT bearish divergence in process this week. RSI was previously overbought at 96 last week, and now it's at 65.92. That's pretty nuts. And that's also a massively overbought chart. Check this out. Can we please just put our hands together for the TBO? Look at these TBO close shorts right here. The week of June 16th, 2025, marking an insane entry for 287% return a year later. Way better than many crypto charts, that's for sure. But it does appear to be topping out, majorly topping out. Like you should be concerned. USAR, USA Rare Earth, lots of TBO closed longs on the daily. It's telling us, watch out, we could see a drop down here to TBO support at 12.64. STEX, StreamX Corp, strong bearish. I mean, it's easy. It's below the cloud. It's leaning strong bearish. On balance volume is exceptionally bearish on the weekly time frame. Strong bearish. Weekly RSI is not yet below 25, which means that we should expect more downside continuation. But let's be real, volume's been falling off a cliff. On balance volume also looks exceptionally bearish on the weekly too. So there's support on the weekly here at 0.4901 for StreamX on the daily. The next level of support is at 0.46. So about that level would be good. That's it. Amazing. Now, the main things I need you to take away from this video is that yes, Bitcoin could have a higher push, but it doesn't negate the macro trend. TradFi right now is a mess, and this is only the start. This is only the beginning. Honestly, I've been sharing lots of bearish reversal signs for the S&P, for the Dixie, for the NASDAQ, for the Dow Jones, for the VIX, for a lot of other charts also warning about oil pumping, and now here we are. The main thing you need to do right now is to assess your portfolio. Can you take a low risk long on some of these crypto altcoins that I shared before this week today? Yeah, you could, but the macro trend wins in the end, and you have to keep that in mind. You have to look at the big picture. So if the S&P is going to enter a massive bear market, again, like 20% drawdown, you would be foolish to think that crypto is just going to be immune living in this bubble. Just because we've experienced a bunch of pain up until this point does not mean that, okay, now we have a little write-off, we have a pass, we can say to the teacher, no, sorry, crypto's already had a bear market. We're good now. We're going to go. We're going to leave early for recess. That's not how it works. There's going to be pain for crypto to come. So if we have a short-term rally, make sure that you're taking profit on the way up, that you're protecting your profits with a stop loss as it's going up higher. And do not be deceived into thinking that this is the ultimate peak or bottom, because there's so much that will unravel for the stock market that will inevitably draw Bitcoin a lot lower. Be careful, okay? And before you go, watch this video that's popped up right here. Until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.